but it took a magician's type of effort for them to win those games that they won. You can't play as frenetic as he plays and think that you're going to be having some consistency of winning football games. You have to be disciplined. And that's not a disciplined team over there. And plus, it's not a talented team either.
Before the Philadelphia Eagles ever had a big V, they had a big B, or at least that's what I call them during his playing days, and I still do today. Certainly a big-time member of our JAKIB Media team, as you watch him each and every single day on Sports Take. And when we need his helping hand, he comes in and drive blocks a couple guys for us. Here on Birds 365, it's Barrett Brooks. How you big B?
Jody Mack, how's it going today, man? Everything good?
Not good.
Well, why? Well, I mean, I heard
good.
you guys going back and forth about Green Bay and why they're the default going back to now let's get it back to the Green Bay Packers type of deal, huh? You're not hearing that.
And well, yeah, I disagreed with the way John was looking at it, which is fine. So I was basically defending the Eagles, yet I'm in a quandary. I'm having a tough time defending the Eagles today. We had Les Bowen on. He said the Eagles are going out and getting their first win in Arizona in a decade. For the last 5 out there in Arizona. Never won in that stadium before. Johnny Mack just went 28-20, so the Eagles win by more than a touchdown, which is a cover in their game against the Cardinals. Barrett, I'm scared this week, and there are some really specific reasons that I am scared. I'll point to one now and get your take on it. I think Devonta Maddox is one of the best cover corners, slot corners in the National Football League. I'll put him up against almost any other slot corner in the entire NFL. Doesn't look like he's going to play. I watched Josiah Scott struggle a little bit with that position last week. And Rondell Moore is a really good, talented slot wide receiver who's been hurt. Came back last week, didn't do a lot, but it's his first week back, so you got to give him a week to at least get up to speed. Now, week number 2, I think the Eagles could be victimized at that position this week. And I think Kyler Murray, who's not off to a great start, but listening to Les talk about him, you'd think the guy was a stone cold stiff. I don't know about that. And he had Jalen Hurts already having moved past Kyler Murray off 4 games this year on the quarterback rankings. Kyler Murray last year was a higher ranked with better numbers quarterback than Jalen Hurts. I don't know if 4 games in one season can actually move you up the rankings as much as Les had him. Are you with those guys uber confident about this? They're just a flat out better team than Arizona, or am I for some reason being the pessimist here?
Well, Jody, we know you're going to be the pessimist. We know you're going to be
that. No, it's not true. I picked the Eagles to win all 4 freaking games.
I know.
And cover all 4 times.
And I'm saying they're going to win this game.
Okay.
But what I'm not going to say.
You're the optimist. I'm the pessimist this week, but I'm not usually.
I mean, they'll win this game. But I will say this, talking trap game, this could be a trap game if it was any other quarterback, if it was any other team. Their preparation is such that they don't really care about who the opponent is. They try to get better in their individual rooms. Their individual mindsets are, we got to pay the rent. We got to make sure we go out and be the best team we can be. You know what I'm saying? Rent is due. And that's their mindset. They're not looking past Arizona to get to Dallas. That's for daggone sure. They're definitely not doing that. But what I will say this.
How do you know that? Let me answer that question. You just think Jalen Hurts, by his leadership, by his demeanor, by his focus,
yes,
he can
absolutely
carry that whole team? Has he really established that already, Barrett?
Absolutely. Jody, you got to talk about this. This guy here is a leader by what he does on the field, what he does in practice, what he does in the meeting room. He's a shining example of what you want in the number one position in sports. The quarterback position is the number one position in sports. Where your quarterback goes, you go. When you define a team, like you just said, you defined the Green Bay Packers by the quarterback position. You defined Kansas City by the quarterback position. Tampa Bay, the quarterback position. It is the number one position in sports. So when you have an identity of a team, that identity of the team usually goes by the quarterback. What Jalen Hurts has done, what Jalen Hurts is a guy who truly believes in what he's preaching. He truly believes in playing fundamental football and making sure you go out and cross your T's and dot your I's. Jalen Hurts at this point had to rally, ring the whole interview that they had with him the other day. All the media, Jody Mack included, not Jody Mack, but Johnny Mack included, didn't ask any questions about the Arizona Cardinals. And what does he do?
Hold on, and Les corrected this earlier. The Arizona Cardinal defense, because they did ask questions about Kyler Murray and Zach Ertz, and Jalen's the quarterback of the team, so he would expect a question about the Cardinal defense. He didn't get one. It wasn't like they completely disregarded this week's opponent. They asked offensive questions of an offensive guy, which Jalen just wanted to make sure he noted the Cardinal defense before he got off the stage.
Absolutely. So to me, that's the consummate pro understanding that he's not looking past what he's about to do. And that's why I say, this team is focused on who they're playing as opposed to looking past the Arizona Cardinals going to Dallas.
All right. Let me ask you a question here. Man, the Eagle fans are going to hate me by the end of this show. Let me give you these stats from the first 4 games of the season last year from a quarterback's perspective. 21 of 32, 289, 4 touchdowns, 120.9 quarterback rating in a win. 29 of 36, 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, 117 quarterback ranking. 28 of 34. Damn, look at that percentage. 316 yards, no touchdowns, but a 93.1 quarterback ranking. And 24 of 32 for 268, 2 touchdowns, 120.3 quarterback rating. That was a pretty good start to last year for the quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals. Were we saying the same thing about Kyler Murray, that he's carrying them to a championship? Oh, by the way, the Cardinals opened up 8-0 before they lost the game last year. Are we putting Jalen Hurts on too big a pedestal off 4 games this year?
No, I doubt seriously. I mean, all that quarterback talk. I mean, all the Super Bowl talk. Like I said, like I said, what Jalen always says, don't believe, don't eat the cheese, don't eat the rat poison. You know what I'm saying? They're not looking past there. They understand this one game at a time. One game at a time. Now,
but let me ask
we as writers,
do you not think they were saying the same thing in Arizona last year when the Cardinals were 4-0?
Absolutely, they were saying that. Absolutely. And the difference being, I really think that Kyler Murray is like not necessarily a weasel, but his leadership qualities aren't anywhere near what Jalen Hurts' leadership or any other quarterback that's leading a team. He pouts. He's not really somebody you can look to when it gets tough in a game. Yeah, he won that one game where he ran around and everything, but look, they've only led, They've only led in 14 snaps. You know what I'm saying? Yes, they're 2-2. But it took a magician's type of effort for them to win those games that they won. You can't play as frenetic as he plays and think that you're going to be having some consistency of winning football games. You have to be disciplined. And that's not a disciplined team over there. And plus, it's not a talented team either. It's really not. You look at what they have. The Eagles are a far better team. I'm looking at their roster right now. AJ Green is hobbled. I think he has a foot injury or something like that. Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown, is a good wide receiver, but he's a scramble-driven receiver, which kind of works with what Kyler Murray does. See, Hollywood Brown, if he's not running past you, he's not the best route runner in the world, so you're not going to get any consistent quarterback play from inside the pocket with Kyler Murray. Now, this is saying a lot because this defense has to go out there and cover, like you said, a Rondale Moore, who will be in the slot. But I tell you what, the way that, Josiah Scott played, they have something to build on right now. You know what I'm saying? They have the athletes that, all right, since they don't have a true number one, a true number one, you can't rely on, them mixing the coverage up and putting different guys on Rondale Moore, so you don't have to worry about him being a guy that's going to go out there and mix things up. That offensive line is going to have a tough day.
Would you not say that is not one of Jonathan Gannon's strengths? That he's I believe in my system, I stick to my system guy. He doesn't do a lot of, we'll mix things up. We'll completely confuse the opposition. At least I don't think so. You'd have a better grasp of me as a former player. I think Gannon is I've got a system. My system works. We're good enough and talented enough that it's going to work for us here. I don't see him as we'll confuse them kind of guy. Am I underselling Gannon?
No, he's not going to try to confuse you. I think he believes his athletes are good enough to go out there and pretty much do whatever he asks them to do. I was going through it. I mean, I got crucified for the first 2 weeks with as it pertains to Hassan Reddick. Everybody kept saying, well, you need to figure out a way to put Hassan Reddick in a better position to be a pass rusher. I'm like, no, that's not how you make Hassan Reddick a good player. You line him up out there at defensive end, in which he is a defensive end, not necessarily a linebacker, and let him go hunt. Let him rush the passer. In the past 2 weeks, what has he done? 3.5 sacks, 2 sack fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries. He is balled out there because that's what he is. Yep. Don't try to reinvent the wheel when you have a guy that just rushes the passer. Let him go out there and rush the passer. That's it. And he realized that. Gannon realized that and put him in a good position. You saw his, he's changed it up when he played against Minnesota. He went man to man. He put his best DB on their best receiver. Slay took it as, all right, this is my job. I'm going to go out there and do it and put him in the baby seat. Shut Jefferson all the way down. He has the athletes that he can just put out there and they'll play. Now, as for, Avonte Maddox, I'm going to tell you the truth. Avonte's a good cornerback, but he may be 1A, and I'm going to tell you the truth. CJ Gardner-Johnson may be 1B. He's just as talented, might be a little more aggressive than Avonte at the slot. They're just not putting him at the slot. If I was Gannon, I would put him at the slot, put CJ Gardner-Johnson at the slot, move, bring, one of those safeties we have in.
Kayvon Wallace.
Kayvon
Wallace instead of Josiah Scott.
Absolutely. And you will have a better defense. But he has the autonomy to do that. If it gets too hot on Josiah Scott, he can flip him out. He can definitely do that. He can put CJ Gardner-Johnson. All you got to do is tell him, hey, go cover, go be a slot cornerback, and he could be just as good as Avonte Maddox.
We shall see on Sunday if that's the way it shakes out. Hopefully it doesn't, because that means something's gone awry. Because I can almost guarantee you Josiah Scott's going to start in the slot come Sunday.
Yeah, he's going to start a slot. Yeah, you're right.
We've got a secondary guest coming up here. We went with a grizzled veteran with Les Bowen on our first guest. We've got a young stud as our second guest, part of the on Barrett being an NBC Sports Philly guy, part of the afternoon drive team, NBC Sports Philly, and the fanatic here in town from the best show ever, ? Well, he's always good when he comes on with us. We're going to talk to Hunter Brody next here on Birds 365.